everybody, welcome to Crack-A-Pack Tuesday on the Mana Leak. I'm John, as always, and we've got ourselves another pack of Dragons of Tarkir. We're not too far away from Magic Origins. It's only a couple of weeks, and then we'll have new cards, new packs to deal with, and probably completely wrong Crack-A-Pack answers. But let's start to wrap up Dragons of Tarkir here with this pack. On top, we've got ourselves a Student of Ojutai. This is a 3 and a white creature human monk, and it's a 2/4. It also says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you gain 2 life. Not that great. You know, it's the standard 4-mana 2/4. Usually those are knights, not students, but oh well. They're generally just okay if you're some sort of deck that's looking for a 2/4, a little bit slow, a little bit grindy, really looking to play sort of the later game, and that's not really what, white is really wanting to do in Tarkir. It wants to be aggressive. As well, the standard prowess argument here, you're not going to have too many non-creature spells to activate prowess, or fake prowess in this case, and gaining 2 life just isn't really worth the payoff anyways. So, not interested in that. Next up, we've got Shambling Goblin. This is a 1/1 zombie goblin that when it dies, target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, and it costs a single black mana. That makes this guy virtually a 2/2. A morph can't block this because it would take 1 damage and then it would lose 1 toughness and it would be dead. He's totally fine. He's obviously best when you're exploiting him and getting that trigger plus some other value on it. Totally okay. Never ever first pickable. These guys go really late, even though they're totally fine in the blue-black exploit deck and arguably okay in the black-red deck. You can get these when you want them. Don't waste a first pick. Don't waste a high pick on these guys. Next up, we've got Impact Tremors. This is a 1 and a red enchantment. It says whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may, under your control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage target to each opponent. Don't often read that card too much. I know what it does. I don't really think about the words, though. This is a build around me card. This is really good in the dash deck where you're going to be dashing creatures out, hopefully for cheap with a Warbringer, and then getting, 1 damage off of this. Or ideally, you're going to draft 2 or 3 of these guys and be doing 2 or 3 damage per creature that you dash out. Could also have a place in a token strategy or anything like that that makes a lot of creatures that makes your board go wide. You really need to be all in on this strategy, though. You see an Impact Tremors, you need to take it. And you need to hope that 2 or 3 or 4 have been opened in the 2 packs of dragons that are going around your table. If you don't, the card's worthless. The card's awful. If you get that to go off, it's a really fun deck and a really sort of attacking from a strange angle deck that's going to surprise people and make for some memorable stories. That's the only argument that I could have for taking this card highly or first picking it. And it's a weak argument for sure. Next up, we've got Glaring Aegis. This is a single white enchantment aura. Enchant creature. When Glaring Aegis enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, plus the creature that you enchanted gets +1/+3. I'm not a big fan of this card. The tapping is cool, but it doesn't stay tapped. It's not at instant speed. It's nothing special like that. It's on your turn. You're going to be hopefully punching through for some damage off of it, but otherwise it's just not that amazing. The +1/+3 is fine. That's I can't think of the enchantment from back in the day that gave those stats, but it's fine. But it's really defensive, which is weird with such an aggressive tapping ability on the spell. I just don't like this card. I don't usually find it's worth a card slot. Next up, we've got Durgar Nemesis. This is a 5 and a blue creature serpent. It's a 6/5. It has Defender, so it's not going anywhere. It's not attacking. And it's got Megamorph, so it can attack when you pay 3 and make it a 2/2. And then later in the game, you can pay 6 and a blue to make this into a 7/6, which is huge and awesome and awful because it's a Defender. It's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, it can block anything on the ground, but can't block anything in the air. So your opponent's just going to go over top of you. They're going to go through you. They're going to do something. This is never worth a card slot. Don't ever pick this card unless it's the last pick in the pack and you have to. And don't ever play it. Next up, we have Sheltered Eyrie. This is a 2 and a green enchantment aura. You enchant a land, and the enchanted land has tap, add 2 mana of any 1 color to your mana pool. This is pretty bad ramp, to be honest. You have to waste a card on it. It has to go on a land. That land, yeah, you can fix your mana, but you don't get access to the mana that land already produces. This does only produce 2 mana. It doesn't produce 3 or anything fancy like that. I just think there's better ways to get mana in this format, namely Whisper of the Wilds. This just never really seems to be something you want to be doing, especially on turn 3. Turn 3, you want to be playing a morph. You want to be establishing your board. You don't want to be doing cute little slow things like this. Next up, we've got ourselves a Sprinting Warbrute. This is a 5/4 for 5, 4 and a red. It must attack each turn if able, and you can dash it out for 4 for 3 and a red. And let me tell you, a 5/4 coming down and attacking on turn 4 is huge. There's very little that's going to stop it, and it's going to take potentially a quarter of your opponent's life, or just storm right through one of their little creatures that they played on turn 1, 2, or 3. Love this guy. Absolutely awesome. Totally great card. First pickable for sure, I think. Next up, we've got Naturalize. This is not remotely first pickable. It's 1 and a green for an instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. There are almost no artifacts that I would care about destroying in this format, and the only enchantments that I'd really be concerned about are Palace Siege, Citadel Siege, game warping Fate Reforged rares like that. But you don't first pick this because of those. You don't intentionally pick this. You pick this when you're green and there's nothing else in the pack for you at all, and you don't main deck it ever. You just sideboard it when you see one of those bad things. Next up, we've got Silumgar Butcher. This is a 4 and a black for a 3/3. It's got Exploit, and when Silumgar Butcher exploits a creature, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. That's pretty solid. You could even exploit that Shambling Goblin that we had to essentially give -4/-4, which would be pretty awesome. Silumgar Butcher is totally fine. I was much higher on him originally when he first was spoiled. He hasn't performed quite up to those expectations, but he has performed totally fine. And at the end of the day, he is a 3/3, which is a totally respectable stats. Next up, we've got Display of Dominance. This is one of the color hosers, and one of the bad ones at that. It's 1 and a green for an instant, and you choose 1. You destroy target blue or black non-creature permanent. So this really says destroy target Palace Siege. And that's it. Or permanents you control can't be the targets of blue or black spells your opponents control this turn. So essentially you're saying, don't reach your shadows, my guy. Don't Douse of Gloom, my guy. This is bad. This is so narrow. And it's already a narrow card. It's just a blue-black color hoser. And it's a very narrow version of a blue-black color hoser. Don't ever take this card. And there's going to be like a game in your entire Magic career playing this format that you might want to side this in. Next up, we've got Explosive Vegetation. This is a 3 and a green sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield tapped. Shuffle your library. This is ramp. This is ramp. You're going to go up 2 mana on turn 4. If you're the deck that needs an awful lot of mana and you have had a way to establish your board on turn 1, 2, or 3, then this is a great turn 4 play. You're going to go from 4 mana to 6 mana, just like that. The next turn you play another land, you're going to be at 7 on turn 5, which is pretty darn good. But you need to be the deck that wants that. There's a specific ramp deck that's going to be playing this. A lot of huge creatures. Preferably your turn 2 play was a Whisper of the Wilds or something like that. Not first pickable. You don't take this card to go down this route. You take this later. You take this in pack 2 when you've already kind of gotten the stuff that's going to put you down that route. Next up, we've got Shieldhide Dragon. This is a 5 and a white dragon. It's a 3/3 with flying and lifelink and Megamorph. So you can put this down as a 2/2 for 3. On morph it for 5 white. It's going to be a 4/4. And every other dragon you control gets a +1/+1 counter. We've talked about this. You're going to be lucky if you have a dragon in your draft deck. The odds of you having multiple dragons and actually getting that second ability to do anything is pretty darn low. That being said, this is a 3/3 flying lifelinker. Or if you're later in the game, a 4/4 flying lifelinker, and that is good. That is really good. This is probably the best of this uncommon cycle of dragons, and I'd be fairly okay with it, I think. Our rare is Den Protector. It's got some value behind it, so there's that. It's 1 and a green for a creature human warrior for a 2/1. Creatures with power less than Den Protector's power can't block it. It's got Megamorph, so if you can pay 3, put it down as a 2/2, and then you can pay 1 and a green to turn it face up, and it's going to be a 3/2. And there's even more. When it turns face up, you can return target card, not creature, not non-creatures, target card from your graveyard to your hand. You get to Eternal Witness something. Yeah, this card is awesome. This card does so much work. Regrowth, very old green card that says return target card from your graveyard to your hand, is just a solid card. You get back whatever you need. You get back your removal spell, you get back your bomb, you get back whatever it is that's in the graveyard that you need, and you're left with a 3/2. Yeah, there's just so much value behind this card, mechanics-wise, that it's awesome. Value-wise, financially, there's also some value behind it. So you're probably taking this at an F&M. You might be taking it at a more competitive level too. But I think I saw a foil, and we did. Ooh, foil Mythic. Foil Shore Crasher Elemental. We've had a Shore Crasher Elemental already on Crack-A-Pack Tuesday for Dragons of Tarkir, but I'll go through this again. It's 3 blue, so blue, blue, blue. For a creature elemental, it's 3/3. You can pay a blue to exile Shore Crasher Elemental, then return it to the battlefield face down under its opponent's control as a morph. You can pay 1 colorless to give Shore Crasher Elemental +1/-1 or -1/+1 until end of turn. And you can Megamorph this guy. So if you don't have 3 blue, you can pay 3 whatever you want and put this guy down as a 2/2. His Megamorph is 4 and a blue, so he's going to flip up and become a 4/4, and then get to do all of his various Megamorphing shenanigans. Yeah, this guy is really, really, really solid as well. He can just totally warp the game. He's hard to kill because he has all that evasion, just like, all the previous morphs that we've had. Not morphs, but, you know what I mean, morphs. The guys that flicker and the guys that go +1/-1 and -1/+1. Yeah, it's just really powerful. It just really sort of warps the game. It warps combat. Your opponent has to start thinking things through very, very, very carefully. Totally first pickable. But we've got a question here. We've got that, or we've got Den Protector, and nothing else, of course. We didn't have a misprint pack that had another foil mythic instead of a tip card or anything like that. But yeah, I think the obvious 2 picks are the foil Shore Crash Elemental and the Den Protector. They're both fantastic cards. I did a quick price check. They're both $10 as of this recording anyways. So what do you take? What do you take? Shore Crasher Elemental is going to help you go blue-black, one of the better decks in the format. Green, not necessarily one of the better colors in the format, but underdrafted, so maybe you could get all the good cards. I think ultimately, from a what do I take to play Magic well perspective, I think I would take the Den Protector. From a value perspective, I feel like a foil Shore Crasher Elemental is going to hold value a little bit more because it's a foil mythic. But from a Magic, from a playing better perspective, I think I'm going to take the Den Protector ultimately. Definitely let me know what you would have taken. I think that was a very hard pick there, Den Protector or Shore Crash Elemental. I love learning from you guys as much as I hope you love learning from me, so definitely let me know what your pick would have been in that pack for sure. Would it have been one of those 2 rares? Would it have been something else? Let me know. As always, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, you can post them here. You can find me on Twitter at The Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/The Mana Leak. You've already found me here on YouTube. If you like the videos, you should click those little thumbs up icons and let the world know. And also, just keep my videos rising up through the ranks. As well, you should subscribe to my channel. There's a subscribe button below each video and one in the outro of each video. That'll keep you up to date on all the latest Crack-A-Pack Tuesdays, Wacky Wednesdays, Spiky Saturdays, and any other special videos that pop up here or there. As always, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you all next time.